in this very special third day of Chanukah, corresponding to the 27th day of Kislev, December 25th, 2019, Lighthouse Torah Project sponsorship, as well as the iTorah.com sponsorship for today's class. Today's breakfast and class has been graciously sponsored by the Misri family, Le'ilui Nishmat, their beloved father, Eliyahu ben Bolisa, alav shalom. Iratzon, that the zechut of the berachot and the learning of today be an elevation for his neshama. Amen. Today, I'd like to discuss, Be'ezat Hashem, two topics, time allowing. One is a very sweet topic because it has to do with the concept of eating sufganiyot or donuts in the celebration of Chanukah. If I look at today's menu, we have jelly, custard, and chocolate. There is no obligation to eat one of each unless you want to be mahmir. Some people want to be more strict and do above and beyond. But I would like to share with the Kahal Kadosh a fascinating concept of how eating donuts in Chanukah increases potentially parnasa at home. This is a very interesting concept. I feel funny saying it. You say, yeah, it's parnasa for the bakery. True, the more donuts you buy, the more money he makes. Al pi peshat makes sense. But you know what? I'm going to let the Sefer do the talking. So it says, this was written by Rabbeinu Maimon Bar Yosef concerning the eating of Chanukah of the donuts. Allow me to get you the Hebrew version. And it says, I'm going to go quickly. Many of us believe that eating donuts in Chanukah is a beautiful, childish custom, and for sure not commanded for adults, especially those that are watching their weight or their health. For that reason, we're sharing the statement written by the father of the Rambam. Rambam was known as Rabbeinu Moshe Bar Maimon. So the name of Rambam's father was Rabbeinu Maimon Bar Yosef. And it says, Hasufganiyot are segula for parnasa. And do not belittle this custom, which is an Asian custom, food that is surrounded by sweetness and deep fried in oil. And this is a source of parnasa, since oil is abundance and sweetness brings happiness, and for that reason should not be neglected. And he says, whoever is meticulous in this custom will see salvations in their life. It gets better. Comes the Ya'abetz, Rabbeinu Yaakov Me'amdin, a great tzaddik, who says, if he, a great giant, will have not mentioned this several centuries ago, who would have believed of such a concept, that like the salvation came through the oil to the Jewish people, the salvation comes by celebrating Chanukah. Comes the great Rabbeinu Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, which I believe the Kahal heard of him. He was a great Talmid Chacham who passed away in Israel a few years back. And it says, in his Sefer Halichot Shlomo, it says, Sufganiyot is a segula for Parnasa and Tefillah for the building of the Bet HaMikdash and Mashiach's arrival. Amen. Eating Sufganiyot. You don't have to eat 8 of them. Exactly. Now, The question you may ask and say, Rabbi, how is it possible? How is it possible that because I eat a sufganiya, now you're telling me about the Bet HaMikdash? What has to do Bet HaMikdash with eating a donut? What has to do? You're eating a muffin. Do you have a donut? Let me see. Okay, good. Good. Just checking. You have a donut also? Hazao Baruch. Don't turn the camera, please. Just keep it focused to the center of the room. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Shehakol Nihiya Bidbaro. So I like to quote the great Rabbeinu Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, which, as I said before, a great giant from Israel that till today, a lot of his rulings became practical halakha, especially in questions of halakha. So he writes and it says, when we come and we say ala mihya, you ate now a donut. What beracha do you say at the end? Ala mihya. When I say ala mihya, there is no mentioning about Chanukah. There is no mentioning. I do Birkat Hamazon, I say ala nisim. I do Amidah, I say ala nisim. I say ala mihya, and there is no ala nisim. Why not? In Shabbat, I say Reseveh Halisenu. In Rosh Chodesh, Bezochrenu Letovah. In other words, every holiday, it's something. By the way, I have some good news to tell you before I go further. I am approving, and I think it's almost done, a ala mihya giant size, like the Kaddish, to be posted on the wall. This is a good dedication opportunity. I'm not selling anything. I'm only just informing the Kahal what's coming. I'm proofreading the final sample to do like the mega size Kaddish on the wall, to do ala mihya on the wall. So when the Kahal eats, will be in one of the walls. When the Kahal eats, if you want, I can put in 2 walls. Somebody can sponsor one wall, and somebody can sponsor the other wall. If you're interested, talk to me after, but I'll tell you the price is 18,000. That's it. But it's nothing. It's a bargain. Imagine yourself, 50, 60 people, every day they say ala mihya because of your beracha. I hope that everybody says ala mihya, and thank God we have these useful cards. But perhaps there are people who this is too small. So now you look at the 26 font letter, and now you see it. You are in Brooklyn, you are in Deal, you are in Argentina, you have direct deposit in your account. It's a great opportunity. Talk to me after, and we have flexible payment plans available. But I'm not selling anything. I'm only just creating awareness. I'm only creating awareness. The Kaddish is already taken by somebody from Venezuela. Do you mind moving? You're blocking my customer's view. A minute. You see, there is a magnificent plaque that goes underneath. So this is a wonderful family from Venezuela who sponsored. Please turn the video. Maybe some of the viewers remotely would like to know what I'm talking about. So today I'm talking about ala mihya. Thank you so much. So there is no remembrance of Chanukah in ala mihya. And the question is, why not? In Birkat Hamazon I have. In the Amidah I have. Why don't I have it in ala mihya? So the great Rabbeinu Shlomo Zalman Auerbach explains, and it says as follows: ala mihya does not need al hanisim. And the question is, why not? Short answer, because what is al nisim all about? Chanukah, but what is all about Ala Nisim? The building and the inauguration of the Beit HaMikdash. That's the meaning of the word Chanukah. Chanukah means inauguration. Like you say Chanukat Habayit, the inauguration of the home. But if you look at Ala Mihiyah, listen to what we say. We say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Rahem Hashem Elokeinu. God had mercy on the Jewish people. Listen to the sentence now. Al Yisrael Amach, on the Jewish nation. Al Yerushalayim Irach, on the city of Yerushalayim. Al Har Sion Mishkan Kevodach, on the Beit HaMikdash. Al Mizbahach, on the altar of the Beit HaMikdash. Al Echalach, on the ark of the Beit HaMikdash, like we learned today in the Gemara class upstairs. Ubnei Yerushalayim Eira Kodesh b'mehera b'yamenu. Rebuild Jerusalem speedily in our days. Be'alenu letocha, and bring us up. And it says, the great Rabbeinu Shelemi Alevi Orvach, that if you look in Birkat HaMazon, we don't find a prayer on the Mizbeach. We don't find the concept of Al Mizbahach. So the great rabbi said, once you say this sentence that I just read, that is the secret of Chanukah. That is the purpose of the prayer Ala Nisim. Therefore, there is no need to say Ala Nisim in Ala Mihiyah. It's a fascinating hidush. At least, humbly speaking, I find it very inspiring and very meaningful to share with the Kahal Kadosh this idea of Rabbeinu Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. And at the end of the day, with this, we're going to switch the topic now. Just 1 second. There was a great rabbi who said, what's so special about the donut? Sweet. So far, so good. By the way, today you can buy pastrami-filled donuts. Yes, relax. I never seen it, but somebody told me this last night. I said, okay, get a sample. We're going to check it out. I don't think they sell it in Miami, but in Brooklyn for sure they sell it. And no, they have all varieties. I imagine that they have all varieties. But a more serious note, what happens, you know how they make the donut after they deep fry it? They take... All healthy? Besiman Tov. I'm glad to hear that. So I got a picture yesterday. Please take one. Gluten-free donut, vegan donut, sugar-free donut. What was it? A tomato. Why? What happens when you eat the donut? And my wife, sweetheart, I'm not eating a donut now. I'm only talking about it. She may be listening. I said, Rabbi, what you say, Yosef? What happens when you eat a donut? The jelly comes all over your mouth. What happens when you eat a tomato? The same thing. The juice comes all over your mouth. You know what does that mean? It says here, it says the jelly or the cream represents the Yehudim that are heathen. A Jew that doesn't show his Judaism externally. I'm not talking kippah and tzitzit and beard. I'm talking about in their behavior. It says the celebration of Chanukah brings the Jewishness, even those that all year long may not feel so much connected to Judaism. And I believe that we all agree on that. Even Amazon today, not today, but this week, when they give you the option of gift cards, they give you Xmas and Happy Chanukah. People in the building that perhaps may not have traditions or follow the tradition like we do, but they celebrate Chanukah. Stores, businesses, condominiums. Chanukah brings the godliness that every Jew has inside. Fascinating pirush, even on something so basic that we take for granted. With that being said, we're going to learn today, Be'ezat Hashem. I don't believe that we're going to do the full version of the beautiful song, Ma'asur Yeshuati. But I think that is important to understand what is the meaning of the song, where the song comes from, why so many paragraphs. People usually sing 1 or 2 paragraphs. But actually, Ma'asur Yeshuati contains, I believe, 6 paragraphs. So I'd like to give you general introduction. Number 1, every paragraph of Ma'asur Yeshuati represents to a different chapter of Jewish history. Literally, the first one talks about our relationship with Hashem. First paragraph is about us and God. I will go each one individually. The second paragraph begins, Ra'ot Sabi'a Nafshi. If you scan through the second paragraph, we talk about Paro, Hell Paro. We remind ourselves of the Egyptian exile, slavery, and Exodus. Beautiful. After we left Egypt, what happened? We spent 40 years in the desert. We conquered the land of Israel. We built the first temple 400 years later, after we left Egypt. 410 years the first temple lasted, and then we were evicted from the land of Israel. Where did we go? Babel. So if you look in the third paragraph, Ketz Babel, the exile of Babel. What happened after the exile of Babel? After the 70 years, it came the decree of Haman and Ahashverosh that prompted a few years later the miracle of Purim. That is called the Galut of Paras and Madai, the Persian and Median exile. So if you look in the fourth paragraph, it says, Kerot Komad Berosh Bikesh Agagi ben Hamedata. Who was Agagi ben Hamedata? Haman. So in this paragraph, we are recounting the miracle of Purim. We go further. Now we come to the fifth paragraph. After the miracle of Purim, Ezra, Sofer, Nehemiah, and Navi, there were some of the great leaders that led the Jewish people back into the land of Israel and the building of the second temple. But as we went into the second temple era, regretfully, the Greeks and the Assyrians wanted to take over the land of Israel, and then it came with all these decrees that their intention was how to annihilate the Jewish people, one soul at a time. This was the plan of the Greeks. And this is what the fifth paragraph says. Yevanim nikvesu alai. The Greeks gather themselves against us in the days of Hashmonaim. And towards the end we say, Bene bina yeme shemona. The men of understanding, meaning to say the great Hachamim, Kav'u shir urnanin. They establish 8 days of singing and jubilation. Hence we have Sefer Torah every day. We say Hallel every day. Full Hallel. We eat better. We eat more. We are in a mode of happiness. And this is how the song officially finishes. But regretfully, after the miracle of Chanukah, there were a couple of years of peace and harmony in Israel, but regretfully, a couple of years after, it ended up with the tragic destruction of the second Bet HaMikdash, which this was destroyed by the Romans. So the last paragraph that says, Hasov zeroa kochecha bekarev ketza Yeshua, we are asking the Almighty to bring Mashiach. This is the message in a nutshell of Ma'asur Yeshuati. We travel approximately since Egypt, 2448 till 5780. So we're talking about approximately 3,300 years and change of human Jewish history, I will say, through the ups and downs of Am Israel. Redemption, exile, destruction, decree, salvation, building, regret of the destruction of Second Temple. This was the introduction to the general terms of the song known as Ma'asur Yeshuati. Now, this song, according to the introduction to the song, was written by a great Jew. His name was Mordechai. How do we know this? In the ways of writing Torah songs, especially when they are not sourced from the Torah, Nevi'im, or Ketubim, you can decipher the name of the composer by the first letter of each paragraph. So Ma'oz is Mem, Ra'ot is Resh, Devir Dalet, Kerot Chaf, Yevanim Yod. So we have Mordechai. This is the name of the composer of this song. Which Mordechai was, we don't know. For sure was not Mordechai HaSaddik. Why not? Because Mordechai HaSaddik lived in the time of Purim, and this song talks about the miracle of Chanukah. So this must happen later on in history, which according to what we are saying, say it in 4 languages and keep the door open. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know people are excited. Chanukah, donuts, parnasah, etc. But, then the Ora Haim in the Derash of Chanukah brings it down that this tradition of the singing of Ma'asur goes approximately 800 years, give or take. Meaning to say, a well-installed tradition in Am Israel. Today, every community sings Ma'asur. Different communities may have different songs. I personally know the one and only tune, Ma'asur Yeshuati. You know that, right? That's the tune you know. Baruch Hashem, I feel better now. So everybody seems to know the same song. Although the more Hasidic singers, they take paragraphs here and there and they put tunes, but usually the famous universal tune of Ma'asur is the one that we just sang. So let's do this. Let's try. The mall today is closed. Most stores are closed. So I will ask permission to expand a few minutes, especially since the prayer started, Mehillah, the prayer finished much later, and we started the class much later. So I'll go a few extra minutes. Let's try to cover maybe 2 paragraphs only of Ma'asur Yeshuati. So we begin. Ma'oz Sur Yeshuati, the mighty rock of salvation. Who is this referring to? Hashem. Beautiful. Lecha na'eh leshabeach. It is a delight to praise you. How nice is to praise? How good do you feel when somebody gives you a compliment? You lift the spirit of the person with a compliment. Guess what? It doesn't mean, God forbid, that God needs our compliment. But when we compliment Hashem and we are thankful to Hashem, it's a reciprocity kind of feeling. And now I say, Tikon bet tefillati. Hashem, please rebuild the Bet HaMikdash. But we need to understand the Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple in Jerusalem, it wasn't only for the Jewish people. It was for the entire world. This is part of our daily prayers. In the Korbanot, the Pasuk says, Ki beti bet tefillah ikare lechol ha'amim. My home, God says, the house of prayer is for all of the nations of the world. And this is happening today in the 21st century. In the modern day Israel, how many times you go to the Kotel and you see people from all over the world? Not only Yehudim, Gentiles. And they put the cardboard kippah and they pray, etc. Beautiful. Besham Todah Nezabeach. And there I will bring a thanksgiving offering. It seems from this sentence or paragraph that one of the first things that after the service of the Bet HaMikdash will be restored, everyone will bring a thanksgiving offering. Will not be a turkey. It will be Mizmor LeTodah, the chapter of Tehillim that we recite basically 6 days a week. After Baruch She'amar, we finish the prayer, we say, Baruch Atah Hashem Melech Mehulal Batishbachot. What is next? Mizmor LeTodah, a song of gratitude to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Le'et Tachin Matbeach, Mitzar HaMenabeach. It says here, the Pirush, quoting the Midrash Rabbah, it says that before Mashiach's arrival, we'll have one more war. I'd like to clarify. Gog Magog, it's the name of this war. But I will tell you a secret. It's not necessarily a war like we understand Star Wars or Russia and the United States or the Nazis and the opposition, Chas v'Shalom. It's not necessarily a war the way we understand weapons of mass destruction. It may be a war of the spirit. It may be a war of the intellect. It may be a war of the mind. Because Gog and Magog, although these are names, but Gog is Lashon Gag. Gag is the highest level of a home. The highest level of the home, known as the human body, is the brain. It will be a battle of the minds, according to the holy books. Yes. Yes. According to some opinions. Other opinions says, no. Ki zebach laHashem bebosra. God will literally get rid of the enemies. And the Pasuk tells us that one of the miracles that will happen when Mashiach's arrival will be, Lo yisa goy el goy herev, velo ilmedu od milchama, is a Pasuk in the Navi. The enemy nations will put down their weapons and they will not talk ever again of any wars. Az ekmor beshir mizmor, then I will conclude with songs of praises in the dedication of Bet HaMikdash, Chanukah HaMizbeach. The Mechilta in Perashah Shelach writes that throughout history, Am Israel sang 9 songs. The first one was, Az Yashir Moshe Ubnei Israel, Ha'azinu, and many other scattered pesukim through the Nevi'im as well. Number 10 will be the universal song of gratitude to Hashem. It says here, for Mashiach's arrival. That's why we say, Ha'asiri hiye kodesh laHashem. The 10th one doesn't mean only for the loss of a minyan, that the 10th fellow made the minyan, but it says the 10th song is directly to Hashem for once and for all, understanding everything that transpired in history throughout our existence. It came to this final conclusion of Mashiach's arrival. As I said yesterday, that Chanukah is a key moment in the calendar for Mashiach's arrival. Because all the celebration of Chanukah is all about what? Not only the spiritual survival of Am Yisrael, but is the building or the reinauguration, I should say, of the second Beit HaMikdash. No, Chanukah is the reinauguration of the second, but we're expecting the building of the third and final Beit HaMikdash. This was the introduction of the first paragraph of Ma'osur Yeshuati. Now we're going to start traveling, because in order for a person to recognize the miracles, we need to talk about them. So the first miracle that we experienced as a nation was what? Yesiat Misraim. So let's go. I'll try to make this one quick, and if you behave good, I'll give you one more. All right? There's plenty of donuts, or you have no more donuts? No more? I think after the Segula of Parnasah, we ran out of them. All right. Not to worry. This Shabbat, we have 3 Sefer Torah, so you have another opportunity for the Grand Petihah. We'll talk about it closer to Shabbat. I'm only throwing a hint. Second, let's talk about Egypt. We were in Egypt 210 years. The beginning in Egypt was very enjoyable, very comfortable. The last 86 years were painful, difficult, and challenging for the Jewish people. Yet we came out of Egypt, we became a nation, we spent a couple of weeks in the desert until the Torah was given. So let's review these miracles. Ra'ot Sabi'a Nafshi. Troubles had Sabi'a is usually utilized for something enjoyable. Ve'achalta besaba'ta. What does that mean? You ate and you were satiated or satisfied. Now I'm saying the opposite. That the amount of suffering in Egypt, it overflowed the capacity of how much suffering a person can experience in life. Beyagon kohi kala. From my anguish, yagon means anguish, my strength came to an end. Hayai mareru bekushi. The Egyptians embittered my life with hard labor and slavery. Beshe'ivut malchut igla. In the subjugation, meaning to be under the kingdom of Egypt. Uvyado hagedola. But with Hashem's strong hand, Hosi et segula. Hashem took out the most beloved treasure from the world. The Pasuk says, Bitemli le'am segula. You will be for me the most treasured nation. Hel Paro, Behol Zar'o, the army of Paro, and all his descendants, meaning to say, everyone that went to the war, Yardu ke'even bimsula, they drowned in the sea of reeds, and the water came upon them, and literally, we all know the end of the story, that no one survived, with the exception of Paro. So yes, we were in pain, we were in anguish, we were in suffering, we were slaves, but at the end of the day, God came to the rescue. Happy ending. One more, and this will finish, and we'll save the second half, belly nether, for tomorrow. So now, we build the Bet HaMikdash. Devir Kocho Heviani. After Bnei Israel conquered the land of Israel, we were in the Bet HaMikdash. The Bet HaMikdash lasted, as I said, for 410 years. So in theory, unbelievable deal. We left Egypt, we survived the desert, we conquered the land, we built the temple. You think that you're in Gan Eden? No. Begam Sham lo shakati. Even there, in Jerusalem, with the Bet HaMikdash, we did not find peace of mind. Yes, we suffered, we relaxed, but the suffering came back to knock on our doors. We need to say the following. Correct. Let me read 3 more short lines, and then I say what I would like to say. Uba noges behiglani. Now, a new suffering came. What was the name of this medical condition? Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babel. That was the name of the illness. Noges also means an oppressor. Kizarim abadti. And you ask, why, Rabbi? Why we couldn't stay in Jerusalem, celebrating, living like good people, like good Yehudim? It says very simple. Kizarim abadti. We became involved with idolatry. We became involved with immorality. We became involved with murder. We neglected to observe the commandments suitable for the land of Israel. We need to know one thing, and one thing, that use this formula for every situation in life. No one can affect or attack the Jewish people unless we allow them to. And allowing them to, I'm not talking about the Anti-Defamation League or the Jewish Defense League or Shombrim. I'm not referring to any of that. That you can call it the ishtadlut of physical protection. But the protection of Am Israel, it comes from Hashem. And if we keep doing the good things, that protection increases. But I'll tell you, the Mishnah in Pirkei Avot says, you know one of the reasons there is exile from Israel? Because people don't follow the rules of the land of Shemitah. That is one of the reasons, the Mishnah says. So if we don't treat the land of Israel with holiness, so you know what the land says? I don't need you. Get out. But guess what? The land evicts you. Vataki haaretz etchem. God forbid. You know what the meaning of that sentence is? Vataki, you know what taki means in Hebrew? Vomiting. The land will vomit you. Haz v'shalom. I'm not even comfortable saying this word publicly, but you need to understand the facts. We need to understand that the sanctity of the land, it's essential. The sanctity of Shabbat, it's required. All these mitzvot, and it says, Avodah Zarah, Gilui Arayot, Shefichut Damim. Not only that, Beyen Ra'al Masachti. Wine. Let's talk about wines. Wine, sometimes people drink when they are suffering. There is such a concept. It's a pasuk. Veyain lemare nafesh. One of the reasons wines exist is when the person is going through a difficult time, or a person lost a relative and they experienced a lot of pain and suffering. The halakha even allows it for the person to take a sip of wine. It's not Pesach that you need to drink 4 cups of wine. It's not Purim that you drink more than usual, a bit. So how do you call this wine? He calls it Yen Ra'al, the wine of suffering. We became literally numb. Kim'at she'abarti. It says, when we left Israel, we thought that it was a one-way ticket, because Nebuchadnezzar not only destroyed the first temple, he committed a lot of atrocities against the Jewish people in many different levels, and the land was desolated. And these pesukim that I'm telling you are from the Torah, that the land will become desolated. If we're not able to take care of the land says, you know what? I'd rather have no help than having bad influence. This is the Torah talking. So the pasuk says, Ketz Babel, Zerubbabel. Hashem brought the end of the Babylonian Empire. That's the meaning of Ketz Babel. It gave an end time to Babel in the time of Zerubbabel. Lekes Shiv'im Noshati. At the end of the 70 years, we were redeemed, and we were able once again to go back to Jerusalem and be involved in the building of the second Beit HaMikdash. And that's why, Be'ezat Hashem, tomorrow, before we go back to Israel, we're going to talk about some of the concepts of the miracles of Purim. So far, we went through Egypt, we came out free, we went to the land of Israel, we were evicted for 70 years, and now God says, pack your bags, we're going back home. So what does this tell us? That the first exile was how many years? We just finished saying 70. And how many years is the second exile lasting for? Already 1950 years. Be'ezat Hashem, God willing, will continue the second part of the song. So tonight, when you sing Ma'osur Yeshuati, what are you going to do? You're going to sing it, and hopefully you will talk to your family and share the fascinating messages that the beautiful song of Ma'osur brings upon us. So Be'ezat Hashem, let us hope and pray that the fourth night of Chanukah, let me talk about the fourth night, give me a minute. The fourth night of Chanukah connects to Moshe Rabbeinu. Last night was Yaakov Avinu. Today is about Moshe Rabbeinu. What is Moshe Rabbeinu message all about? The concept of Torah learning. As the Pasuk writes, Torah Sivalanu Moshe Morasha Kehilat Yaakov. But not only to learn the Torah Shebichtav, not only the learning of the written Torah, but also to learn the Torah Sheve'al Peh, to learn the oral law, if it's Mishnah or if it's Gemara. Interesting enough, if you look at the word Mishnah, it gives you the word Neshama. One of the learnings that benefit the soul of the person, living or God forbid not living, is the concept of learning Mishnayot, which learning the Mishnayot connects itself to the learning of Gemara, also known as Talmud. But Gemara, as we mentioned not long ago, whenever you learn Gemara, you suddenly activating 4 angels to come to be connected with us. Gemara is El Rashi Tevot, Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel. These are the 4 mega angels in Shamayim that deals with a lot of the things that happen in our life. Gabriel is Gevurah. Raphael is healing. Michael, Raphael, Refuah, healing. Refuah, right? Malach Raphael. And Michael is protection and salvation. And Uriel refers to the light of Hashem. 4 letters of the Gemara word, the 4th night of Chanukah. Tizkol Shanim Rabot. Chag Sameach to everybody. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen ve'amen. Rabbi Hananiah ben Akashia Omer, Ratzah Kadosh Baruch Hu lezakot et Israel lefichach. Irba lahem Torah mizvot sheneemar. Adonai hafez lema'an sitko. Yagdil Torah ve'yadir. Amen. 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 יהא שמך רבה מברך. Beautiful. Amen. 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 אשרי ישרת אדוני במזמור